here's the thing. The real vision is so psychopathic that it's very hard for people to believe that it's true. And you have to understand the people who are running the planet don't look at you and me as the same species as they. And what they want is they've now created a technological infrastructure where it's much easier and risk-free for them to have a much smaller population. So they would like to see significant depopulation, on a steady basis, which is what they've been doing since the financial coup started in America. They've been steadily lowering life expectancy and steadily lowering fertility. So these are long-term trends. But if you look at what they're doing now with closing down the straits, right, coming into planting season, it looks to me like we may be facing an intentional engineering to engineer massive famine. Very significant famine and energy lockdowns. This time it won't be COVID. It'll be, we can't afford to, we have to preserve gas for national security. So, we've seen these kinds of restrictions now in Thailand, Peru. It's coming on around the world as the straits remain closed. So they want to reduce population, but what they want with the population that they're managing is they want to delegate the governance structure to an AI infrastructure like a social credit system that can do surveillance and institute spatial control and financial control at very, a one-by-one level. And that's why you need all these massive data centers and extraordinary satellites and surveillance systems. So if you look at the control grid, we have a great collection, David, at the Solari report called the Fast Approaching Control Grid. And generally, we describe the control grid in three pieces. One, and to me the most important, is the programmable money. And that's what Solari is really committed to trying to stop. And we'd love your help to take the model legislation and get that run and passed in your state. Programmable money and spatial control as well depend on a very high quality digital ID system, ideally with biometrics. That's what the real deal and all the real ID and the biometrics is all about. And then there's the third part we describe as the hardware and software infrastructure that supports the surveillance and implementation of rules. So it's the tracking of people, it's the application of rules, it's the enforcement of rules through the programmable money and the spatial control. So part of the control is not we can just turn off your money, it's we can turn off your car with the kill switch. So there's definitely, spatial control is definitely in the mix. And it's been very hard when I've been describing the control grid for many, many years, as you know. It's very hard for people to fathom the end game, even when the World Economic Forum says it's 2030 and you have no assets. They just can't fathom that end game exists because it's so psychopathic if you're not, at the top looking down on the whole system.